Okay, on today's video, we're going to talk about PPC close rates. When you're generating leads with a PPC campaign, you want to be able to close those leads at the highest possible rate you can. I have just a basic formula here that if you follow this, you're going to be able to get a 200% increase in your close rates on those leads that you're getting right now today without changing the traffic source. That's not what this video is about. We're talking about the same traffic source that you're paying for right now, same money, same costs, taking those leads after they filled out the form on your landing page or site or called and say yes, ultimately. Sign a contract, book an appointment, and actually follow through all the way. Actually, we're talking about conversion rate, lead to sale, or lead to revenue, specifically here. Hopefully I made that clear enough. We're talking about taking the same leads you have today and getting more money from them, specifically by doubling the amount of people that initially inquire, which y'all should be saying yes, because why would they inquire? And we're assuming you have good quality leads in there that can, that are purchasing at some rate, whether that's a low or high rate right now, and getting more of them to say yes. We never could get them all, but we can get a heck of a lot more doing this formula here. And the reason why I know that this formula will work for you is because like 1% or less of people out there are actually going to do this. And this, by the way, is something that, there's a saying in business. People trust what you're saying if you eat your own dog food. Meaning, if you sell something to, particularly to business or business to business, businesses, selling to a business customer, not a end consumer that doesn't run a business, you better be able to say that you use what you're selling yourself. Otherwise, why should I trust? Why should I trust that you are saying that I need this and you don't even use it yourself? Obviously, that can't apply in every case. There's some stuff that's just for specific types of businesses, and that just could not apply. But for the most part, if you have a company that normally would have an HR department, let's say, and you have an HR software solution for a company, and you weren't using that, but you had just no software in your company, I'll tell you what, right now, I think it's perfectly fine not to trust that company. That software, they're using you as the guinea pig to figure out how to make the software work, and then eventually maybe they'll use it, but it's not good enough for them to use. I'm not trusting it. So anyway, how that pertains to this is, we have a PPC firm here, guaranteedppc.com. We do PPC management for clients. Management's a misnomer type of word. It's more so getting results on clients' campaigns more than they have already or right now, and continuously growing their amount of sales that they're producing or leads that they're producing. This is stuff that I advise my clients to do all the time. Very few actually do it because a lot of people are just stubborn. We'll just put it that way. They know that they need to improve their traffic source, but when it comes to the leads and improving the close rate on those, very few people want to do this. So this is just wide open for you to use in just about every market out there, because people, whether I tell them or not, people are just, they dig their heels into the ground and they don't want to listen. I would call it arrogance, but I use this personally in our own business. In other words, eat our own dog food. I know this works, A, because I've used it, but also B, there is some people who have actually followed up and done this for themselves. Very, very few. A lot of them will do some part of it, and part of it actually I do for my clients every time. But all of it, very, very rare that somebody's actually going to do this, even though it's not rocket science. The golden rule in business, or to make a PPC campaign work, should be like hiring an employee. People expect I'm going to treat my employees however I want, and they should be appreciative of what I actually do give them. The name of the game is perception is key. How that employee perceives you is everything. What you think, it doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter crap. What you're trying to sell to somebody, it doesn't matter what you think you should do. It's what the consumer thinks they should, wants to do ultimately. So you need to be putting yours, if you want to really make a lot of money at PPC and just in general in business, but it ties to PPC directly, You need to be able to put yourself in the consumer's shoes and think, what would I ultimately like to see here? And a lot of times they don't know what they want to see because a lot of people don't do, following up on leads right. But if it makes sense for you, if you were the customer on whatever you buy, then you should be trying it for yourself. At least figuring out if the ROI is there. Stuff like this I'm mentioning here has a easily a 10x ROI for 90% of businesses that try it out. And so you should always try something once. The winners that I see people building up, $50 million a year companies try everything once. They don't just try it for 2 seconds and quit. They try it until they know for sure it won't work. And then they try something else and they're consistently improving. This is just one way to improve if you're generating leads for your business right now. Generating leads could mean they're downloading a white paper and then you're following them up. It could be they're requesting something from your, they're requesting an appointment from your dermatology clinic and you want to get, in terms of people to show up, the close rates there. It could be somebody applying for a job online, getting them to show up to the appointment. There's all kinds of stuff where this technically would apply. Normally speaking, of course, if you're selling something more than $200, you're going to be doing lead generation one way or another. Even if you sell a product on your site, people call and then they, think about it and then they later on buy. So there's a period of time from the time they initially get to your site and to the time that they buy, let's say a good 50% or more of the time, where you also have quote unquote a lead effect that you can then work in what you're doing here to that as well. For instance, if you sell a paint product, it's for high-end, fire-resistant paint that you sell to businesses. People call up, they ask about it. You should be capturing their information. Again, if it's expensive like product like that, so you could do this stuff as well. The bigger the purchase size, the longer, on average, it takes for a person to make a decision. And at a certain point, you should be doing this stuff as too. Ultimately, is what I'm mentioning here. So even if you don't traditionally generate leads, this obviously works for sure on that, but it also can be used on anybody selling a more expensive product or service out there as well. And don't think of yourself as a normal, lead generation business. So anyway, with all that said, I'm going to give you the formula here. Really, you don't have to do much else. If you just did exactly what I told you here, you should be able to get this 200% increase in your close rates. If you're closing 1 in 6 leads now, 1 in 3 leads shouldn't be a problem if you execute this, and it doesn't have to be done flawlessly either. I'll make a bet with you right here. If you actually do this for yourself, if you come back, I'll slap myself if this does not work for your business. So leave me a comment down here below because I know this stuff works. If people don't use it, they convince themselves it won't work no matter what I tell them. So that's just the funniest way I guess I could put it to you, that you should just use this. It's free money. The consumer will love you. It will make the world a better place. They'll be more informed and more comfortable to make a purchase. They'll get the problem solved at a higher rate, because just because they inquire doesn't mean they're going to buy from you or buy from anybody. So let's make the world a better place. We'll start using stuff like this in our businesses. So anyway, there's kind of a 3-step process in general that you're going to be rolling out here to increase your lead close rates. The first of which is going to be what typically people call a email drip sequence. So like there's tools like Aweber, there's MailChimp. There's a bunch of constant contact softwares out there. That Drip is actually one where you could send a timed repeating email sequence. So when somebody's put into the system, it'll send out, one day send this email, the next day send this email. You want to do one of those for your business. If you're not doing it right now, you really absolutely should be doing it. But there's a particular way that you could do this. I'll give you some main tips here. One of which, there should be structure to what you're doing. The whole sending people an article about your industry, that stuff is a waste of time. We're beyond the point where we could do that anymore. That used to work 15 years ago. If you could find it on Google, don't worry about saying it. What people want to know when they fill out your form, let's say, or call, let's just say as well, we'll add that to that, is what am I getting through you guys? It's different. Or why should I choose you guys? Of course, that stuff could be on your site, but you'll add, no matter if it's on your site or not, even on the landing page, you're going to get a higher close rate by repeating, because it's going to become more true. It's also a lot of times people won't read it all right when they fill out the form, and this will make sure that they more often get it sunk into their heads. And so what you do is you send out like a what to expect sequence. You start out as the owner or founder, kind of person, and you say, hey, I'm Corey Zyman. I'm the owner of Guarantee PPC. I just want to let you know that, first of all, thank you for contacting my firm, but also that, basically you made a good choice because our firm actually does something different than most firms, yada, yada, yada. And I'm actually going to be sending some more information that kind of explains also on these points a little bit so you can make the right decision. And then the next day, you're going to send them a second email. And each email is going to build on the previous one. So the first email says why you're different, and it should sound personalized from you. This is the best way I've found to do this in terms of all the ways that I've tested it with different companies. The next email coming up a day later, what to expect upon arrival to the clinic, upon actually buying this product. What should I expect as a user or customer or client using this product? Just give me a general overview. Okay, if you hire us, we're going to do this, this, and this right away, and then, you're not going to have to do a whole lot, but, this is kind of how it works. So people understand your kind of formula for doing what you do, so they get the insider's idea, I guess, if you will, because that's helpful for them to decide. You're helping them decide if they should buy from you or not to buy in general, even though that's helpful information too. We're not going to do it in this email sequence. I could get into why, but you could take my word for it. This third thing is a day later they'll get an email saying subject or titled what to expect on use of that particular product. So, I've gotten the auto part. It told me what to expect when I got it, talking about installing it, that kind of stuff. Now that I'm using it, here's some general things. Well, it's going to give me this benefit. It's going to make the car sound this way once I start using it. Basically, you will have to take care of it. And the maintenance will be this on it, that kind of thing. If we sold a specialized part, and of course we don't sell lots of different parts. If you, by the way, sold a lot of different categories of things, you would need one of these sequences for each category that you have. And a lot of people on their form, they have a drop down or something that says what are you interested in, and then whatever they fill in there gives them this sequence that follows them up, but is tailored to what they're actually in general looking for. It doesn't have to be for every product, but just broken down into categories. An exhaust, a paint job, whatever. And then the next one a day later, what are the chances that I don't have results? So what is the chances that this thing is going to work for me? Explain, it's very slim, or, even if you do have a problem, here's how we handle it. So you have to worry, and then you do this. So you ease my concerns about it may not working because it's on people's minds a lot. The next day you have an email that talks about optimization tips. Okay. How do if I do use this, I know what I'm getting, what to expect, my expectations can be straight. Oh, what else can I do to make this better? Well, if you have this installed, or you buy this and add it to what you have here, you'll get an extra big boost for what you're doing. Or if you bore it out to a different size, okay, work better then. So just some general tips of what you could do. Again, so you're like taking them through all the way the lifespan of using this product so they know what they're going to get there as well, which a lot of people aren't going to do. Therefore, you're going to get a higher close rate. The next email a day later, who else is using this? So give some testimonials, basically. Jim used this product and he said he got 15 new horsepower from this, or he did this, and this is a picture of the new paint job that was on his car, and it looks amazing. And then here's Mary, and she also got a paint job, and she had a different kind of car, and this is what she had, So they give examples of it so they can visualize what it would be like using it. And then the next day, the last day, you'll have an email with just your other accolades on it. Basically, you're looking for articles or places that have given you recognition for doing what you do, whether it's a service product, whatever. It could be a review site that reviewed your product. It could be a newspaper that wrote an article on you. So basically, don't take it for my word. You know everything about us now, and what we do and what we sell. Here's what other people say, so you know it's all true. But you send that email sequence out to them every time that you get the lead in the way that I mentioned, so that you have a sequence for each main category of thing that you offer there, so that everybody gets that. Once you've done that, now here's the big one most people don't do, and this is probably half of the results right here. Using that information that you already created, you're going to create a printed version of it, and it won't be exactly how you have it in the email, but pretty much the same, and send it out to the prospect in the physical mail, snail mail. I recommend using FedEx, because if you have a FedEx package, they're not going to throw it in the garbage can. People get junk mail, they throw it in the garbage can. It has to look personalized. You can send a personalized letter with information like this on it, and that's one way to do it that could be cheaper. Or you do a FedEx package, because everybody opens a FedEx package. You're not wasting your time then. That doesn't get thrown in the garbage instantly. It always gets opened. And so you explain to it, and everybody, they contacted 3 or 4 or 5 people to ask questions. They haven't decided yet. Ultimately, they get this package from you that gives them all this other very useful information. And now I know more about your product or service than anybody else I contacted. Who do you think I'm going with by default at that point? So obviously it only costs like $3 to send out a package of information like that. You spend a lot of times, $50 for a lead. Why would you not do this if it could potentially give you another 50% increase on close rates? I could tell you it has that kind of an effect. I use a book. We send a book out to our prospects. That's another way to do it. And so instead of having to send this information out, another way to do it is just send out a book so they can read about what your philosophy and style of doing what you do is. So that's another option for you. And then the third thing is you're going to create, really it's a remarketing strategy, which this is the part I always do anyway for a client, because this is what we do here at PPC. But you're going to start off by creating 2 articles for your blog. And I mentioned blog because it's just one place that you can easily post an article on your site. But you're going to create 2 articles here. Of the articles, these are the best articles I have found in terms of styling and angle that most businesses can use to be able to increase your close rates. One of which, simply top 10 things that you need to know to make a proper decision to purchase. So this was supposed to be proper decision to purchase. So here are in other words, you're going to just tell them in this article, here are the top 10 things that you need to know in order to buy a life insurance policy. And if I'm in the market for a life insurance policy and I don't know which of the 5 companies I'm going to go with yet, that answers my question pretty damn well, basically, right? So you're going to do an article like that, put it on your site, then you're going to do one other article. Again, we're keeping it simple. I'm trying to give you literally a exact roadmap of what to do, and you can invent your own thing. But if you don't want to, you could use this, and this will do the job. Another article: how not to get ripped off when buying a life insurance policy. So how can you write an article like that tells about what to avoid? People that want to make the right decision, i.e., not make the wrong decision, that's like the identical thing that you're looking for there. You put that on your blog. Once you've done that, you're going to run remarketing ads that just basically say the title of the article that you posted on your site on the ad. So you were on the site, you filled out the form, you're deciding who to go with. You're searching around. Now you start to see an ad that has the top 10 things you need to know in order to make a right decision. Boom. Then you see another ad. You clicked on it, you read it. You see another ad, how not to get ripped off when buying a life insurance policy. You see the ad, you click on it, it takes you to the article. These articles aren't meant to generate a lead, it's meant to increase your close rates. But in addition to your remarketing sequence though, to top all that off, create 3 ads that have 3 different testimonials on them, or case studies if you're in the B2B space, and send those people back to a long form testimonial review. If you don't have that, you can actually skip that and just actually send them back to a page with all your testimonials or reviews on it. That would be, or case studies on it, that would be okay. But the ultimate, I'm telling you right now, if you can have a long form testimonial where somebody took a picture of what they were doing and explained how it helped them on a page, and they saw a short form of that testimonial on the ad, and then they could go read it, that's the ultimate by far. But then, if it's B2B, you can do case studies the same way. You write the title of the case study, they go and read it. And so upwards of 3 different testimonials / case studies there in the different ads. And these ads are going to rotate out. You're going to like see one day, and another day, another ad, another day, another ad. So it's like article, testimonial. And then you're going to see one review ad that explains your reviews on Google, Yelp, or another industry review site, like a site that just reviews doctors, or let's say if you had a site that just reviewed dermatology clinic, like I mentioned before in my previous example. You're going to write the review that you got on those sites and then point the person to a page on your site that literally mirrors the reviews you have on that site, so that you take them back to your site instead of the other site. You technically could take them back to Yelp or whatever if you wanted to, but testing it out, it works better to take what's on Yelp, to put it on your site on a page, and then so if they actually do want to click on your ad that says you got perfect Yelp review, they can go see that and then they're already on your site. They're more likely to just call you up and buy right then. Then you're finally in your remarketing sequence. You're going to have one ad that talks about an outside citation or award you got. News article talks about an award you received. It's similar to what you were talking about here on your last email. And then with that though, you actually want to point the person to the review on the review site that you got, or the newspaper article, because what other people say about you is 4 times more likely to be believed than what you could say about yourself. So you send a person to that other site because that's going to get your trust, to get your close rate up. And by the way, in your email, I would do the same thing. I would link out to the actual article or what have you that you got, or a place where it announces where and how you got that award, if you have one. So anyway, that explains the remarketing sequence. You're going to have 2 ads here for these articles, 3 testimonial / case study ads, that's 5, and then 2 more ads, one announcing your reviews that you have. You could also say you have on one ad, Google, Yelp, and then some other place reviews all in the same ad. I've done that a lot of times. And then one ad that talks about what kind of industry award or citation or art news article he had written about you, pointing to that place. And so this is all going on. So if they're online at all after the time that they contact you and the time that they're going to ultimately make a decision to buy in your space, they're going to start seeing ads, upwards of 5 different of these ads a day. They're going to be rotated out the entire time when they're trying to make the decision. You're automatically going to be way, way ahead of the game just by doing that. Then they're going to start to, they're going to get a package in the mail from FedEx that everybody's going to pick up on, and they're going to say, wow, this company really cares about what people think. So instead of just the information itself, you get that effect. That's what people don't realize when you're talking about snail mail, because so few people are willing to do it. If you're willing to do it, you're seeming like the most ethical person in your space, like automatically. So just take my word for that. Try it with and without, and you'll see for yourself. And then, of course, you get an email. With the email written to have so much value, after they read the first email, they're more likely to click on the second email. If the first email is not written very well, it's not done by somebody who understands copywriting. Hire a copywriter if you don't know how to do the copywriting, or have experience in copywriting, so that people don't click the spam button or unsubscribe. Otherwise, your stuff goes to spam. And it doesn't work. And then all future emails are a waste of time. This only works if it's written well. But written well, they're starting every day. They're reading a little bit more about your company through the email. They got so you can see as a package how much more this is going to work and get you 200% increase in your close rates. Could be more. I've seen it actually be more, but I don't want to overstate this. This is a conservative number here. So as far as the costs go, how much does this cost to do? You're saying, Corey, that just sounds expensive to do. Well, over time, if you're not talking about the setup time, which that gets factored out over the next 3 to 5 years that you can actually use this once this is set up. The per prospect cost to do all of this is about $10. Even with the direct mail piece with FedEx and all of that. So basically what you're talking about here is if the current cost per lead you're paying right now is greater than $10 per lead, then this is a winning strategy for you to increase the amount of profit you're making from the same leads that you have right now. And of course, it's easier to make your current leads, close at a higher rate to increase your profit than it is to find new traffic sources that work as good as the old traffic sources did. So you start here before you expand your ad. And then once you've done this, anything you do with the expansion of the ads later on to get new traffic, to pull new people in, that's automatically going to work better and be easier to do later on. So very few people are going to pay less than $10 a lead anyway, whether it's $10 a call for somebody to inquire about a $1,000 product or service you're trying to sell, or just literally to fill out your form or call on your site, i.e. generating a lead. Therefore, this can be used for 90% of businesses out there. That's why I said that at the beginning of this video. 90% of you guys can use this to increase your close rates by upwards of 200% there or more. So anyway, hopefully it all made sense. I have a lot of videos just like this talking about other PPC strategies on running ads on Google and so forth on this channel. You should check those out on my blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog. You can see step-by-step instructions on how to build winning campaigns the way that I do it to guarantee our results for our clients here. Given the only one in the space that does guaranteed results, you should check those out as well if you're interested in learning how to build really good campaigns without having to go through the trial and error that I did to figure these strategies out. Anyway, I hope that inspired you as well to go ahead and try this for yourself. If you have any questions, anything that I didn't cover, comments, whatever, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person that leaves me a comment and answers any questions, concerns that they have. So you should go ahead and do that if you have it on your mind as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed.